And we're on July the 18th, 2022, 2 p.m. Roll call, please.
Michael Montoya,
Yeah, present.
Francina Martinez,
Present.
Alan Franken,
Present.
Dinah Minus,
Present.
Robert Ritter.
Present.
And Pledge of Allegiance, please. Diane? Lead us.
Allegiance to
To
the
the
flag
flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes of June the 13th, 2022. Did you guys all get your copies? Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Question?
no, I nominate that we approve these minutes as written.
Make a motion to approve.
Make a motion
minutes?
for approval, yep.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
First and second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, seeing none, motion passes. Next item on the agenda, do we have any public input?
No,
None.
none.
Okay. Next item is discussing of items, and letter A is Resolution 22-32, budget adjustments for 21-22 fiscal budget to include the revenues increase and decrease to Fund 771 American Rescue Plan Act. Mr. Chavez.
Yes, this is just a resolution for DFA purposes. This resolution was brought to Finance Committee and Mayor and Council earlier on in the year whenever the monies were received. However, the fund was not set up within DFA during that time, so we had to make the adjustment within the DFA system now so we can reflect correctly for the year. So there is no adjustments to Tyler to our system at all.
Questions?
I have a question. So that amount you have on there of 1.5 mil, is that the amount that was given to the city
Correct.
for the rescue plan? And is that 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year money?
That was the first half that we received last year. We're receiving the other half this year.
Okay, so the total is a 2 year funding?
Correct.
All right, got it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And this one has already been spent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? I would like to suggest that you'd be thinking about, again, about projects and what could be done with the 1.6 that we might get this next year. I know we didn't have a lot of input last year. It was brought up to us, but Mayor and Council and staff and the manager basically decided on all the listing of that projects that we spent it on, and which was roads, play equipment, and salaries, and I think there were anything else, but there was a whole list that we had,
Mr. Montoya, if I may, so it hasn't, this new funding that we'll be receiving for this fiscal year has not been allocated then? You haven't not created a budget for it?
yeah,
Well, the budget's created for it because
Okay.
we're expecting it, but it hasn't been
received.
received as of yet.
But you did create a budget for it then?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us how you budgeted that amount then?
Because they gave us the figure, so we just put it into the same fund that we had last year.
Oh, but you haven't spread it out then? You have not created a budget for it then, right? You haven't put so much, let's say you're going to use some
It hasn't
salaries?
been allocated, no.
Okay,
And that's what I'm asking is,
make sure
keep
that
in
you do
mind
get that.
we
Okay,
have that coming in, and you guys foresee anything that's outstanding that we need to address, so that we can make a recommendation to Mayor and Council on this time around.
because this new one that we're talking about here, is that for this fiscal year?
Correct.
So you don't do that at the same time then? Like, to me, like, if I get an allocation, I'll do the budget, I'll present the budget at the same time that we would book the funding. So you're doing that separate is what you're saying. You just received the funds, but you haven't done the actual budget for it. Right?
The budget is there, and I can show it to you if you'd like.
I was just wondering how, what,
We put the budget revenue and expenditure, and
Okay.
then whenever the time comes, we can do a line item transfer within that fund to wherever we need it. Which doesn't require DFA approval, it's already budgeted, both revenue and expenditure, so if we need to move it within that fund, we can do so.
I mean, just to
Sure,
clarify,
that's
it's in
right.
budgeted revenues and budgeted expenditures on our budget that we're
Right.
looking at. It's there, yeah, okay.
but it's
Just not specifically
the
allocated.
specific.
It's not broken down. We haven't decided yet what's gonna happen to it. We gotta get it first before we decide what we spend it on.
Just
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
That brings up another question. Is this money, it's from the feds, right? Is it on a reimbursable basis, or do they just dump the money into your account and say, go spend it?
Well, it's on a reimbursable basis. What we do is we budget for it, and then we have to supply the documentation as to where,
That's what I mean, is
You have
that
to do
they
the
get a
drawdown.
chance to look at how you spent it,
that's correct.
Oh, yeah.
and they get a chance to say, no, you can't spend it on that. Okay,
Well, they tell us ahead of time what we can spend it on and what we cannot spend it on.
yeah. But a lot of times, what they tell you you can spend it on is in a general fashion, and when you send a specific invoice that you want reimbursed under that, they might try to say no to it. Right, Dinah?
correct.
Yeah.
How often do you do the drawdowns?
Once if possible.
What's that?
Once if possible.
Oh, wow.
Oh, at the end of the year?
Well, as soon as we allocate everything, and mayor and council have been moving very, very quickly
Okay.
in what they want to do, so
Right.
once we get those expenditures going, we make the drawdown as quick as possible.
Okay.
Monthly?
Yeah.
Monthly would be my suggestion, once you do create the budget and so forth for it.
Right.
That way, it's not so hard to track,
Right.
because let's say there was an unallowable expense in there, and, you could JE it out the sooner,
Right.
because if you wait 6 months to do a drawdown, kind of forget what happens in 6 months, you know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
just a little bit harder to track.
And what I've been doing, and what I did in the past, was I just keep a binder with all the expenditures that this funding is used for, so that it's not gonna be forgotten about. We know exactly what we have in there. And so come year end, we know exactly what was done with
One last question, do we have a finance director?
it. No.
You're looking at
You're you're doing a great
Mr.
job.
Mr. Charles
You're
is,
doing a great job, Mr.
You're good at
Charles.
acting.
I know.
he's an intern, but yeah. I don't know if anybody's applied or what situation is.
But it's still open, it's still being advertised?
Yes.
And you still don't want it, Melanie?
No, sir.
Oh, God.
Any other questions on the resolution 22-32? No? I'll stand for a motion on that, so we can approve it and move forward.
I move to recommend approval.
First, Mr. Franken,
Second?
second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Actually, take a roll call, please. On resolutions.
Michael Montoya,
Yes.
Francina Martinez,
Yes.
Alan Franken,
Yes.
Dinah Minus,
Yes.
Robert Ritter.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Letter B, Resolution 22-33 to adopt the fiscal year 2023 budget as per Department of Finance Administration, Local Government Division requirements. Mr. Dominic Chavis.
Yes, sir, that's the fourth quarter final for fiscal year 21-22. As of the moment, we do not have anything to provide for you, just due to the fact that we're still finalizing bank reconciliations. We need to tie in our cash balances for the end of the year. And so at this moment, we don't have anything to provide, but the information will be provided for the special council meeting on July 29th. I'm sorry?
It's 2233, the budget one. Nothing final.
I thought we just did 2233.
No, we did 2232.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Okay. Yeah, we started discussing this one outside. This is approval of resolution 2233 for the final adopted budget for 22-23, the Department of Finance and Administration. I do have one correction to mention on this. There has been a change to the expenditures since you received this information. Now the expenditures are at $69,924,334. Which can get you the difference on that.
When did we receive it the first time? I guess I missed it. I asked Eleanor to do this sheet for today, or do something for us today, but we never saw any budget.
You saw just the agenda request, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Eleanor?
Yes. So what he's saying is the difference from what the agenda request has. The agenda request, what you're looking at, has 69,172.
Right. did you-
Dominic says
Mhm.
now there's been a change to that budget from what you're looking at to now 69,924.
So would that be resolution number, I thought we were sent 2234, right?
You sent 32.
This one says 33, but did I
just
not
went over-
download it?
We had the resolution, but we never had the numbers that I remember. Never seen the budget.
Yeah, I had not either, Mr. Frank. So on the budget sheet that was presented to us, Eleanor, I presume you did this. Does this product come out of your finance software? Or is this a side-generated document?
This is a site-generated document created in Excel, and then we upload it into our system.
Okay, so, may I ask a couple of questions, Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, the first line, the adjusted end in cash balance is minus 2 million. What is that column, first of all? Is it adjusted ending cash balance at the end of the last fiscal year?
Correct.
So last year, 15 days ago, you ended with a negative cash balance in the general fund?
No, sir. This cash balance has not been adjusted because we cannot adjust it until after we do all our bank reconciliations and year-on journal entries. So this cash balance is not correct. What I'm showing you today is the revenue and expenditures
For just the 1 year?
for this coming year, for the new year.
Oh, for the new year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so you're saying that the anticipation is in the general fund, you're going to spend $2 million more in the current new fiscal year than you take in revenue in the general fund. Is that correct? So in other words, you're going to spend down cash balance, prior cash balance?
Yes.
So your estimated ending cash balance is 1.8? For 6/30/2022?
Correct.
All right.
Actually, right now, you can't look at anything outside of what the revenue and expenditures because the cash balances are not there. Your ending cash balance is not there, and it's not going to get there until whenever we finalize everything, and that'll be for the July 29th meeting, which our ending cash balances need to tie to our beginning cash balances.
Got it.
And
Okay.
so right now, all I'm really presenting to you is the budgeted revenue and the budgeted expenditures.
Okay, all right. So I can kind of understand that for now, but when the final budget is approved and presented, then I think we need to look at this a little differently then. But
Sure.
but I see now what you're saying. Next question I have is, on this sheet that you have there, it shows American Rescue Plan Act as Fund 260, and we just approved a resolution for 742, Fund 742.
Okay, sir.
Will that be changed a little then?
No, sir. We're talking apples and oranges because this is a reflection for the DFA purposes. And in DFA, the fund number is now 26,000. I just put 260 there.
Okay.
Just the first three. In our system, the fund number is 771.
I'm sorry, 771, yes.
Correct. So, I mean, I'm not sure if you got the whole packet on that previous resolution, but on there, you can see where there's Tyler line items and DFA line items, and it's indicated in bold, the changes.
Okay. Very confusing. There is no way to get these things the same way, I don't know. It sounds like it's something that's been built into the system for many years.
And it's a little bit of a task to make sure that not only this Excel spreadsheet that you're seeing here, because
Yeah.
whenever we take it to council, it'll be a bound book, paper copy. And this needs to tie to Tyler, the system, as well as to DFA.
Right.
And so,
Okay.
In Tyler, even like with your reports, these reports, are these created also like in a worksheet that you guys all just enter all this information every month, correct?
what we do is we run a budget report
Right.
on a monthly basis, and we take it straight out of Tyler and put it onto a
And you
Excel
create it.
spreadsheet for you.
But we're not actually seeing the actual report out of Tyler. That's a created,
No, but
Right.
we can definitely give it to you. I mean, we take it off of one report and put it onto
Right.
this for simplicity purposes, because the Tyler reports are gonna be pages long versus a page per each.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
Dominic, I know you haven't audited cash balances for the end of year, but are these ballpark? I mean, are these plus or minus a few thousand, or
We haven't even touched those.
do you have no idea?
We
from,
haven't touched
they don't carry over from, say, May?
I have not touched those balances. This spreadsheet is this is an annual spreadsheet. I don't mess with this one on a monthly basis. And so actually, you get 1 month into the year, and your budget book that we provided you today, or whenever it gets approved, it's gonna be different within a month because people do a line item adjustment. Not in totals, but. the lines.
How can we determine that we're gonna spend 16 million more than revenues if we don't know what the balances are to start with?
This was.
Because you see that in the negative, right? Because you see that your expenditures are,
No, this is
More
the
than
total
revenues.
for the total for the entire city.
right, it's 69.
Right, we're
But
gonna
you-
spend 69, our revenues are only 53.
Correct.
So we're gonna overspend by 16
Right.
million, but if we don't know what our cash balances are to start with, how can we project spending
More.
more than we take in?
Yeah, it's,
These are estimates.
I know.
These are estimates.
Well, they're estimates, so they're close.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's what I wanna know. Do you have 45 million or you got 5 million?
right.
You still have to kind of bow forward from what you had in the
Right, but I mean, if we don't have a clue what they
Yeah.
are,
Yeah,
then we shouldn't budget another 16 million over revenues,
Yeah.
is what I'm thinking.
yeah, yeah. It's
But
a
if
little
the
different
45
from-
million is ballpark, yeah, we got,
Yeah.
it's nice, it's a nice problem to have.
Right.
You can spend more money than we're taking in, and that's, we need to. Okay, I understand. We're not gonna tie you to those numbers.
No, and will $69 million be spent? More than that, no.
Why not?
But you're budgeting for them.
Yeah, it's-
Yeah.
So you better have more revenue than what you do expenditure, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Or a cash balance to pull
Cash
from.
balance.
Yeah.
Well, you that or lower it.
Well, you don't want to spend down your cash balances either.
Yeah.
So did I just hear you that you don't have anywhere close to 16 million cash balances right now to support this budget?
That's not what you heard, sir.
Okay, what did I hear you say? Try it again for me, please.
I said that there's more likely not going to be spending $69 million.
Oh,
And-
so
and-
that number is wrong.
There's nothing wrong about it, sir. This is budget.
It's projected.
This is
It's
projected.
projected, it's an
Projected
estimate.
budget that we're, that-
Okay.
and we met with every director,
Kind of like a wish list.
No, it's
if
actually
you
on
would. I
paper.
don't like to use that
It's
word,
on
but
paper.
No, no,
It's
I'm
been put
really
on paper.
uncomfortable with this.
Yeah,
Well, I know, and I don't even know if we should have been shown this.
We can ask the
Yeah.
counselor
this-
there if he's
this,
uncomfortable
this
with this.
form, just because of the questions that are being asked.
right.
Yeah.
This was
When you
the
see a
first budget.
deficit of 16 million, yes, you will have somebody raising eyebrows over it.
Yes.
The thing is that these are projections for the whole year.
Did
Yeah.
you get this?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
But the ending year budget will be given to us on the 29th. We have a special meeting. That's the one that's going to bring out the true numbers as to how much we're projecting for this next year.
Well, then what's the resolution?
This is because
The
DFA,
Resolution dash 33.
yeah,
What's that resolution for? It's to transmit this spreadsheet to DFA?
Correct, yes, sir. This is a recommendation by the finance committee, maybe by mayor and council, that anything and everything come through here before it goes to council.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can only provide you what I have at the moment. I've still got 2 weeks to get everything updated on this spreadsheet.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, that's why I asked Eleanor to get us something, because if it's on here something that mayor expects us to give a recommendation on, we haven't even seen a number. Not any number.
But the problem I have is we've now seen some numbers, and I'm troubled by these numbers.
Of course.
Okay, so,
but these are all estimates. These aren't actual
Projection.
numbers.
I know,
No.
but
So that we shouldn't, yeah, that's.
counselor in the world I come from, I would have never brought these numbers even as an estimate. I would have
Correct.
refined them down and gotten them to within,
Yes.
and then said, hey, ladies and gentlemen of the council, we can't exceed this
Right.
number. Right now, you could give people the impression we could spend $69 million next year. And I don't think the city
And
can.
maybe, we would prefer to see it balanced, right? This is balanced, what your revenues are is what your expenditures are going to be, okay? So that's probably what has us uneasy, is that there is a disparity here. Okay, so, I don't know if this is what you normally get from DFA at this point, at this time of year.
I'd be more than happy to show you
Yeah.
5 years' worth of budgets.
Yeah,
They're all-
that's
they're all
what it
basically
is.
the same, yes, ma'am.
Correct.
I mean,
And it's not fair to you that we have all these questions that we want answers to when you are the interim, okay,
Yeah.
finance
Yeah.
person, so.
and then during the year, as we
Excuse,
mentioned, no, it's
my
okay.
actions, if I sound, that's what I would want to see, is, to have these two, your revenues and your expenditures, they should align. They should be, whatever this number is, if it's revenues that you're expecting, it should be 53,809. Your expenditure should be 53,809,
Agreed.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And as we mentioned last finance committee, the revenues will more than likely come in higher. These are estimates, so during the year, we can raise these revenues via bond to DFA. So, I mean, this is,
Do you have a rough guess of how much higher revenue will be
no, sir.
than the 53?
No, sir.
Because we're 4 million in deficit in the general fund, correct? It's 4 million? It says here, local reserves requirements unavailable for budgeting.
And that's
How much are you
short?
short? How much are you short just in the general fund? Here it says 16 and 11. What's the difference between those two?
16 and 11.
6 million.
Yeah, the 6
Yeah,
million.
5-6 million.
Can't we reduce can't we reduce the expenditures by 6 million? I'm just saying, either that or you increase, is this all projections? Is this revenue that you have listed here for 11 million? Is that just a projection?
Yes,
then we couldn't bring that number up.
So it's 4.3.
We couldn't bring that number up, you know?
It's a little bit late in the ballgame right now to be making
Uh-huh.
these types of changes.
Sure.
I know that it's been a struggle because I asked for a deadline to changes to be made over 3 weeks ago, and I'm still making changes as of today, so it's kind of a little bit of a task to be able to try and get all of these types of things into place and still meet the deadline by the state. So, I mean, I've kindly requested through all the directors that, you know, we've had our opportunities.
Mhm.
The changes need to stop because every change reflects 3 or 4 different places, and to make sure that this ties to Tyler and Tyler ties to DFA is a little bit of a task, and I'm sure you're aware that we're working with the Slim Crew.
We all are,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
unfortunately.
and no end in sight.
I know.
This is what it is today.
Right.
Yep.
This is what it's gonna be for the next, I don't know, I just came back from a training in Las Vegas, Nevada. They said, get used to it. Maybe in 2040, you know what I'm saying?
Can't
I'll be
find out.
way old by then, you know what I'm saying? But it isn't gonna change, is what
Right.
I was told.
In my experience, I want to let you know my experience on budgets, okay? 2 years ago, COVID came on board. Everybody was saying that, oh, lodger's tax was going to be way down and we weren't going to have any money to spend for our community and this and the other. COVID came and went, and that was one of the best years that we had in lodger's tax. And then we didn't include this CARE money last year in our budget, but they gave it to us, so that increased our budget. Now we're finding out that we're going to get that second half since last year. So throughout the whole year, a lot of things can happen, and different fundings from different sources can come in. We had some fundings from the legislature that hadn't been spent since 2017.
Right.
So it's you know, it's a hit and miss sometimes, and also it's, you know, projections that you do. We don't know what fuel is going to do this year. I mean, it might skyrocket, it might stay the same, it might go lower, I don't know. But we're projecting it a little bit higher this year, no?
Yes, sir.
Just for in case. But, you know, I mean, those kind of things are kind of sometimes unpredictable, you know. So, I just, for whatever it's worth. And again, this budget, according to our charter, is supposed to have been ready and good to go 40 days prior to June 30th. And we have had issues because we have short staff, and we don't have a finance director, and our directors, or we keep changing the plan, we keep changing the budget every day, so like he said, it's a triple effect. Finally, the mayor extended his deadline till, we're having a special meeting, finance meeting, on July the 28th or 29th, 29th, just to approve this budget at the last minute. Just, you know.
And in doing so, I still gotta get it, all the resolutions and everything else uploaded to DFA to meet their deadline on the 31st. So we'll hopefully get the blessing from the council on the 29th, and then we'll work the weekend to get it finalized to DFA.
Can you preload it all, or is you gonna be here till midnight on the
No,
31st?
it's preloaded as of right now. These figures are sitting on the spreadsheet in Tyler and in DFA as we speak right now. That's the reason why I've been hesitant to make adjustments, because you go and start playing with things, and it's not the easiest task, and it's not the easiest way of doing things either, but this is what we're presented with, this is how we're gonna get it done, and so far, we're all tying out in all directions, so
And then during all this process, you found out two other items that were needing adjustment also during this process. And, you know, that took some time too. So, and that was, remember, the insurance, and I don't know what the other one was. Or they had done beyond default on it, not paying it. So, but that, those, you know, again, those people aren't here anymore, so it's not, you know, I wouldn't even point fingers at things like that. It just happens, you know, that's, somebody wasn't
Vigilant.
taking care of the business at the time, so. But, I mean, there's no way that I can find out and you can find out of those kind of things that are happening.
But, sir, I would have a very hard time approving or recommending that
Correct.
somebody else approve a budget that's out of balance by
Correct.
16 million.
I
At
agree.
this point, even at this point, with all the caveats that you've mentioned, and I understand those.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
And rightfully so, you have that vote.
yeah.
Yes.
So when the time comes, you can say no.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Any other questions? This whole body can say no.
Well, I know, and the
It's up to
council,
their,
yeah.
to council to decide.
Oh, I understand,
Yeah,
I
and
understand.
that's, yeah, okay. Any other questions?
No, sir.
No? Mr. Chavez, do you have anything else to add to us?
Not at this time, sir.
Okay. I'll go ahead and call for motion on this item.
I move that we table this until we have right and proper information.
I second it.
We got a first and a second. Roll call, please.
Michael Montoya,
No.
Francina Martinez,
Yes.
Alan Franken,
Yes.
Dinah Minus,
Yes.
Robert Ritters.
Yes.
Motion passes. Move on to the other item, letters C. That's resolution 22-34. Approval of first quarter report of 21-22 to submit to the Department of Finance Administration, Local Government Division Department. Mr. Chavez?
As mentioned earlier, we do not have anything to provide to you at this moment because the final quarter has not been completed. These things are coming to you all just because of the request to have anything financial go through the finance committee before mayor and council. Like I mentioned earlier, we have not completed our bank reconciliations. Our cash balances aren't ready to be, or aren't ready. Therefore, we don't have anything to bring forward on this resolution as well.
Okay, now, this will be ready by the 29th?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Questions?
I have one comment.
Yes, sir.
The third whereas in it, I think that towards the end, it should say correct to the best, missing the S in the language there. See what I'm saying there? The third whereas, all the way towards the end of the, first line of that third whereas. Should have an S in the word.
On best, B-E-S-T,
Right here.
instead of bet.
Yes.
To the bit of our knowledge.
It's the third whereas,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
the first sentence. Just a typo.
Yeah, it's just a typo.
Can you change it? Right? It's on the word.
Let me see if I have the right document.
It's in the shape folder. Or, I'll change it.
Any other questions?
Now, we have not seen the report.
No, neither have I. And we won't till the 29th.
Correct.
Okay, I get it.
Got it?
And I get your desire
Sorry.
to change dates for certain things and everything with the council. That didn't fly, but,
That didn't fly either. so-
yeah. I
I
understand.
tried. yeah.
I know you did, I know you did. And thank you.
Yeah. No, I take a beating, don't, trust me. But, yeah. But again, this is a requirement by DFA, and when a mayor approves it, they have to submit it.
Yeah.
So I understand you're blindfolded here, and I don't blame you for voting. I just want this moving forward to mayor and council. That's my recommendation, my thing. But I don't blame you all for not voting for it. not
Well,
pushing
this
it.
particular one is just completion of the actuals for the end of the year, end of the quarter.
That's correct.
Yes.
And I don't have any problem recommending, or I make a motion to recommend approval of the final quarterly report pending its completion.
Okay.
The numbers don't lie.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Franklin. And there again, it's sort of like we're signing a blank check, really, again, because it's required, it's not here yet, we'll have to do it, and we'll have to see it, and we'll approve it. And then it goes to DFA, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It won't come back to this committee unless you request it now, and we'll put it on, but it's already been passed by mayor and council
Yeah.
because of the timeframe. So, and whatever those numbers are, I mean, 16, 20 million, either or, it is what it is. Call for the
I'm
question?
sorry, what was the motion that Mr. Franklin
So
made?
I was recommending that we recommend to council to approve the final quarter report pending its completion.
The end of the month. Roll call, please.
Michael Montoya,
Yes.
Alan Franken,
Yes?
Francina Martinez,
Yes.
Diana Minus,
Yes.
Robert Riddle.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, just a point of order, in the committee, does the chairman vote or only in a tie? Is that
You know what?
committees, I just was curious.
I'm kind of curious myself right now because I think,
Or are you an ex officio member of the committee and not a voting member of the committee at all?
In case we ever get to a
A tie.
2-2,
Yeah.
I just wanted to know.
I don't know, you don't have the charter there, no?
I don't have it
You
on
don't.
me.
And I don't mind.
We can answer that
Okay,
anytime
I'll-
going
I'll
forward.
double check.
I'm just curious, normally the chairman
I
of a
think- I
board or
think-
something is not
yeah.
voting until there's a tie, so.
I am sure that I do not vote. But either way, this two motions would have not reflected.
It hasn't
But I'm
reflected
pretty
it yet.
sure you are correct, Mr. Franklin. I'll double check. And Francine, don't let me forget.
Today, man.
We'll check it right after the meeting.
Must be the motion.
It must be.
Letter D, June finance report. Mr. Chavez.
Keep in mind this fourth June finance report does not entail 92% of the payroll accrual that is going back, as well as any other accounts payable accruals that will be going back to the prior year. As of this report, those items were not entered.
Why not?
Because as of this report, by the time we have to submit it to Cassandra, or
For here?
for the Finance Committee, those journal entries had not been posted.
Got it.
I believe the payroll has been entered since this was done, but as of this report, they were not entered. And of course, we gave departments through July 15th to get any other accounts payable accruals put back into last year. So as of yet, those journal entries are not reflected in this report as well. For the general fund, our revenues are at 109%, with our expenditures at 75%, leaving us a surplus of 824,609.
Do you have a guess on the accrual that will go against that budget? Just 90,000, 300,000?
Do you recall that number on that journal entry I gave you?
How much is each payroll?
Payroll at or around 400,000. And accounts payable, honestly, I have not seen that spreadsheet.
Okay. So
But
it
I
could
will-
just be a wash for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very well could.
I have, since you're on the general fund, could I ask a couple of questions on that, Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, go ahead.
First of all, is my impression correct? The majority of the revenue for the city of Las Vegas is gross receipts tax?
Yes.
Yes, okay. What's going to happen to the budget, and have you added this in, for the city to take over the animal shelter?
We did add that in, and basically, the big cost on that is gonna be salaries.
Yeah,
Because we wanted one manager and 6 other individuals, I don't remember the titles off the top. But, in the past, we were always at $126,000 for the contract that we paid for them. And then, of course, materials, supplies of different nature that we
Right.
had in there in the past. So, it's gonna be a little bit of a change just due to the staffing wise, because we only had a couple of individuals on there, and then the PD was helping. But now we are going to hire 6 staff for
okay.
that building.
All right, so the head count's going to go up
That's
because of that.
right.
2 more quick questions, please. The franchise tax, what is that?
That's coming from PNM and Comcast, is that correct, Eleanor?
I believe so.
Comcast?
In general, what is it?
Let me just get back there.
NMR and Comcast? Oh, no.
Yeah. Let me get in there and I'll tell you exactly
Who
what it is.
else?
It's all your big name companies, P&M, Comcast, what else is in there?
Okay. So it's taxes collected by others, like internet companies, phone companies,
And things of that
electric
nature.
companies, and then it's dispersed to the city. Okay.
Right.
And then, my last question is, on the revenue side, there's a thing called local miscellaneous for over 2 million. What is local miscellaneous? Excuse me. It's a revenue, so what is that?
Want to say business license? No, it's not in there.
Business licenses go under your license.
License and fees.
What is it? Oh, it's on the.
It's in a different line item, under revenue. But it's a pretty big nut. It's,
Yeah, it covers a broad range, let me get in there.
Okay, let's go. Oh, that's a tax room.
So this will cover your auction proceeds,
What's the account?
reimbursements, refunds, for the
Is it just miscellaneous? What's the name on it?
general fund, it's all under the one line.
Right, but, oh, so that's the cash
Yeah.
on this one, okay, so I
Yeah,
have to go
it's,
look at
it
that.
has like a broad, like, interest earned,
oh, do we earn a lot of interest?
your ankle monitor fee systems, your
So it's anything that you guys don't have?
It's
Yes.
another category for it.
Yes.
What was it she said?
Like-
It's everything else that you don't have a
Yeah,
category
like
for.
proceeds from
Like ankle
auctions,
bracelet,
ankle bracelets,
uh,
interest, anything you don't have a category for, it'll go into miscellaneous.
Okay, all right. And then, one last question on this. If there's a surplus or a deficit in the general fund, it stays with the general fund, right?
That's correct, yes.
It doesn't get mixed in with surpluses or deficits from other funds that the city has? Okay. Thank you.
I had a question, Mr. Chavez.
Yes,
On
sir.
cannabis, are we collecting that already?
Yes.
We are.
And what does that look like?
For June, there was 6,560.
That was our first collection.
And that comes from the state.
Yes.
It goes from the state to the county, right?
Yes, and well, kind of in around, county goes from state to county and it comes in through our gross receipts.
The
Mr.
county
Chavez?
sends it to the state and,
Well, no, in a way it comes in with all our other gross receipts tax that we receive with everything else.
Would that mostly be May taxes, probably?
This is gonna be your April taxes.
April taxes.
They are 2 months behind when they send in the payments. So this month, actually, for now in July, we'll be receiving May's. So they run 2 months behind on that.
What's the percentage? Did they
On
break it down
cannabis?
for you? Yeah, did they break it down?
No, they don't give a.
They
I
didn't
think
give us a
they-
percentage on
no.
that.
Did they break it down for you guys?
No,
That's interesting.
I'm sure we can get it broken down.
yeah.
I thought that number would be higher because the
Well, they didn't
numbers I
start-
saw on the news were like in the millions.
That's at the
But
state
that was
level.
just April.
Yeah, at the
When
state
did they
level.
start in April?
Yeah. Yeah, at the state level,
April 1st
they
was the
brought in
first
millions.
legal
Yes.
sales.
Yes.
What's the city's cut? If you look at the state number, what's the city's?
Well, I don't have that
You don't
percentage.
have it.
No.
I can get the information.
I could get it for you.
Could
I
look it
have
up?
the report, yeah. I could bring that up.
Maybe everybody was
So
scared.
that number's not even included in our revenues for next year.
Yes, what do we put it up?
Sorry.
That's right. Go.
So what did we estimate? Because we already have like 5 shops in town. The vendors. Oh, let's make sure we
More
get
than
our-
grocery stores.
Yeah,
There will be.
we only have what, 3 grocery stores?
We said we needed to
I
eat.
know.
We're gonna need another little burger.
We're gonna get it one of these days.
After we get the munchies.
So for the month of June, this is for the state and it's total. The state brought in 2.4 million. The biggest counties, I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, is probably gonna be, it was, let's see, Las Cruces, Hobbs. So you're looking at your bigger cities that are gonna be bringing in the majority of it. Bernalillo County, Carlsbad, those are like the top.
So where are we at on that?
Probably the last one.
Rio Rancho with Albuquerque was the biggest at 292,000.
We're not on the list.
We're there, we brought 6,000.
6,000.
Now, what is that number? Is that the gross receipts tax number or the total sales of marijuana?
That was the total tax.
The
Ah,
taxes.
okay.
Total tax on it.
So, and then the county gets, I'm
And
sorry,
then, so whatever the county brings in, that's the total tax, and then we charge like penalty and interest and some admin fees on it.
Okay.
So it depends on your county, your range, I'm just looking at it right here, and It doesn't significantly change your numbers brought in, what you get, but it reduces it a little bit.
So we're projecting like that every month, more or less, for now.
I would say at least that, and they haven't even given the new report for May yet. I was just in the system this morning and they hadn't given the new report for May.
I don't think
So-
that should be, and Councilman, to answer your question, it's not budgeted, so I'll get that out of it here. But that was April, there was only one or two businesses open at the time. Now there's what, five
Yeah, it's about 5.
going on 6?
That, and I think
So-
people are still scared.
Yeah. Well, not so much.
So-
I see smoking.
Do a rule of
Not
thumb
to be legally
for us,
binding,
Neil.
yeah.
What will this current fiscal year's revenue projection for gross receipts tax on cannabis sales be in your budget? What
Well,
kind of
I'm gonna have to
number are
look
you
at
looking
that.
at?
I just mentioned to Councilman Montoya that I don't even have it in here, so I'm gonna have to include that.
So you don't have a guess right now,
No, sir.
or you're not willing to
No,
make
sir,
a
I-
guess?
No, if I had a guess, I'd give you a good
Because
guess.
he needs a nut. He needs to know kind of what maybe is there. Because I think maybe what you thought is going to be way higher than what the reality is going to be in terms of...
Well, I just heard $15 million or something like that statewide, I guess, or it was a high number. I don't know what the number was, but it was a high number.
That sounds
so-
high.
For sales, not the tax.
Divide ours.
Ah, if it's for sales, that's different.
That was sales, right?
Yeah.
So to kind of give you a rough estimate of what our percentage was, I'll give you just off of April's numbers, but let me find this in here.
I'm just going to play that times 12 months.
So do you have April, May, June numbers there?
Just
No, you have
April she
April.
has.
Just April, okay.
They haven't given her the report yet.
And April was what, 6?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. 6,000.
So let's say 10. It might not be too bad. Might be, well, 120K.
120, 130.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be an add
If
to
you
your
don't make it,
budget.
you don't make it. but-
Yeah.
Could be more, I mean,
Yes, Mr. Franklin.
depends how many people decide that they want to buy here. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
a good guesstimate would be
Yeah.
130.
could do something with that.
I
Yeah.
guess the county is staying with a larger percentage for what reason?
The county,
You know?
Don't know.
it's not just the
I-
city, it's the
I
county.
think, I don't know, I don't know, the way they did the law is, I guess the funding goes to the county first and then the county distributes it to the cities.
Well, this is coming through from the state of New Mexico, so it is, this isn't even it's coming in with a regular.
But you think that most of the
CRT.
sales would be in the
In the city,
municipalities
right?
Yeah.
Sure.
versus in the counties?
Yeah.
But I know there's already 2 places in the county, I guess.
But it might not be determined that way, so
No.
it might be that is like gross receipts tax. The county has a percentage that they've established,
I'll check with.
and the
Attorney.
city has a percentage. And I think in your resolutions, when you set up the cannabis thing, you,
Yeah, so
determine.
that was so confusing that they already changed it twice.
oh, they did.
Yeah, they went back and changed it twice.
Okay.
And the tax is significantly higher than the normal gross receipts, correct?
I don't know about significant. I know it's higher, but I don't know about significant.
How much is the actual?
I thought it was in
What are
the
the
area of
schools putting on
20%.
this?
I thought they were
Yeah,
trying
I
to
don't
make
know.
money. They want to make money on this. I thought it was the 20% range for the tax on cannabis, state tax.
All right, who's going to go in and buy some and let us know what the tax will be?
Yeah.
I have a card, I'll go on. I'm just kidding.
All right,
I don't have a card.
there you go. We got our man
It's
there.
easy, it's easy. Well, we're having to change some of, I guess, our policies, or looking at our policies about that too. Employee insurance.
Oh, yeah, I think you need to. I think we all do.
No, there's
Well-
too much of it.
I mean, it was same thing as when alcohol was getting, I mean, prohibition, it's not any different, it's just something
No.
different.
Are your policies still zero tolerance
Yeah.
for marijuana included?
Yeah, because we have federal
Yeah.
grants we have to follow the same guidelines. We have no choice.
At the convenience store level, if you do that, you don't get anybody.
Well,
Mr. Chavez, do you want to continue on this?
Okay, sorry for
Yes,
the interruption.
And I'll get that cannabis tax put in there. For the enterprise funds, the revenues came in at 17,649,15, which is 103%, and our expenditures at 15,336,085, which is 82% of the budgeted funds, for a surplus of $2.3 million.
that's good.
Our recreation center revenues are in at $525,392. Always keep in mind that there's a general fund transfer in there of that $420,000, so you're ballparking just over $100,000 for the rec center revenue. And expenditures came in at $424,309. It's a surplus of $101,083. Our lodger's tax actual revenue came in at $538,195, and actual expenditures $301,810, which provides a surplus of $236,385.
Councilman Montoya, how does this look on the rec center to other years? Is it a little better or
It's better.
is
No,
it better?
it's a lot better. Last year, I think, or 2 years ago, we had to pump in $400,000.
All right.
But there were some adjustments that were made because I think that the utilities were being paid off of another account or something or other.
Well, the utilities are paid out of general fund either way, but the staffing wise, we had quite a bit of staff and we didn't have the facility open enough to bring in the revenues. And then, of course, last couple of years, it's been closed. And so this year, being that they've been able to open a little bit more and they kind of streamlined their staffing, it's helped out a lot. And then this year, of course, we budgeted transfers of $420,000 versus the $325,000 from the prior years. So that also helps.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
On lodger's tax, I believe we appointed 2 new members to lodger's tax, Mr. Mar Martinez and I don't remember the other lady's name. But hopefully they will be going in an entirely different direction and making more recommendations and approving more requests. To use some of that money. And we just approved, it was, how much dollars, just the last meeting of lodger's tax?
For lodger's tax, they are approved
It's like-
for this year. To spend?
Yeah, this last meeting.
That was just, well, we rejected the 40,000.
Like $50,000 maybe? Yeah. And we tabled I think one of the requests. So,
A lot of that fund the chamber,
no,
partially
it's,
fund the chamber.
no, it's from, no, a lot of the requests or,
Well, I thought, I know the chamber was coming to the council for, wanting
yeah.
her to the lodgers board and
Yeah.
council.
yeah, they did some requests, the gay pride parade had a request and, what else, First Business?
Business alliance, yes.
Can't remember right off the bat. Well, yeah, we had quite a few requests that we honored. One of them was actually for signage and trash cans and benches, I believe. And they were out there, and the Friends of the Gallinas were out there today marking out where benches are gonna go installed, or the trash cans are gonna go installed.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
the bear-proof trash
Yeah,
can.
and then they're realigning where the benches are gonna go, because the first time around, they were put down in different locations where, you know, it was way down in the river, or we need a padding on it and so forth, so they're redoing that so that we can start installing them. We have 20 of them to install, and they're just sitting there at the rec center since April.
Mhm.
So, but we're moving forward on that one. And then I guess the nearest gross receipt bonds that we're ready to pay off would be probably not until year 24, 25? 25. So your gross receipt tax won't come down till then. And that was probably 0.25% on that loan?
Right.
Yeah. So, and I believe that was for the rec center. And it was a 20-year loan, 40% tax. And that was for phase 2 of the rec center at the time. From my understanding. Any other questions? Do you need this approved, or is it just
No, it's for information.
informational? Informational?
Information.
Okay. We'll move on to letter E, June AP check listing.
Mr. Chairman, I have one question.
Go ahead, sir.
On this is the AP listing, page 6. There's one, I believe, a check written to Maria Sandoval for $600. What was that for? Page 6.
That's a bond check, that's just reimbursing them for a bond that they paid on this other gentleman.
Okay,
They
what does that
bonded
mean then? She bought a bond?
She bonded out somebody that went to jail.
Huh?
Someone
Yeah, somebody got into trouble, went to
went to
jail.
jail.
She paid the bond to get him out.
And this is just refunding the bond
Yes.
money? Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got it. All right. And how would I read that? What fund does it come out of?
762.
Yeah, it says court bond trust.
Yeah, I'm looking for where she is here.
763.
So court's fund?
And where's that? It's Fund 763?
That's correct.
Is that it? Okay.
Any other expenditures listing? Huh? Come on, man, I know you have one.
I have a finance committee now at 3:30, otherwise I'd go into detail and see it.
Yeah. We both
Then I have a
have
board meeting right after that, I better save my energy.
Anything else on that we now to know about that kind of pops out?
How did we do for the fiestas? Event canopy tent, okay, so I'm thinking, okay, how is the revenues for the fiestas this year? How do we do?
I haven't seen them, but we
Was it
Yeah.
a success?
honestly, the fiestas, I mean, depends on what you mean by success.
Do we break even?
Right, how
Uh,
expensive is
no.
this?
Yeah, if you break even, that's a success.
Not,
Yeah.
not that we're not gonna have it ever again, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They'll throw us out of the committee before that happens.
Leo
Even
and
we're
Chalk are
breaking-
supposed to be giving a
A
report on
report.
Wednesday, no?
Okay,
On that.
Do they include projected lodger's tax, gross receipts tax from visitors, all that stuff, when they come up with a number, how effective was the fiestas?
Well, when they come for, when they come for any lodger's tax money, those questions are asked. How did last year's fiestas affect us? How many people were brought in? How much you spent? How much goes to seat? And what you sold? What was your ending balance? And, stuff like that. So, they usually have a tent up there at the park, and they try and get some of that information there, and counts and stuff like that. They'll be giving a report on Wednesday on the whole activities, but, I still stand that it should be a city event, and it should be a committee, a city committee that's doing the fiestas. And
Who pays for it?
but the other thing that we're gonna be doing with all those kind of things is, in order for us to not overbook our city or our staff and so forth, our city manager's gonna come up with some kind of a formal plan to where, they bring to us, Mayor and Council, a list of events for the year that are concrete. And then that way we can turn around and ask lodger's tax to cover all the overtime, all the trash bins, solid waste personnel, all police and fire overtime, bathrooms, and so forth.
Because none of that is
It's
content, right?
Because all that is coming out of our general budget.
Right.
Out of our department budgets at the
Yeah.
present time, and it's hurting them.
Sure.
And it should be coming from lodger's tax. And we're not using that lodger's tax the way we should. And we should be charging them for that. So, they're gonna come up with a plan to attack that issue. And that way we get better numbers, and we can move forward on that. Those kind of things.
And
To answer
that's
your
going to be
question, as of-
presented
as
what
of right
day?
now, nothing's been
Wednesday.
reported.
Wednesday?
Yeah, we got
Day
it.
day after tomorrow,
Yes,
6 o'clock?
yes, ma'am. What else, Dominic?
I was just mentioning to Ms. Francine that as of right now, nothing's been recorded revenue-wise on the fiestas.
And normally that goes through economic development, and it goes because they're the ones that run it, and they're the ones that spend it, and they normally the ones that report back. I know they were giving away the Fiesta posters this year. Normally they charge, I don't know.
They were throwing them in the audience.
I guess it was kind of like a last minute thing, and it wasn't like, it was a poster of all the posters. of
Right,
The
I
history
saw
of the
it.
fiestas, and it was smaller in size and so forth, so the committee probably felt that they would just give them away instead this year. But hopefully next year they have, we'll go back to the regular process. But as far as I can give you a report, I had fun. It was nice.
Me too.
I listened to a lot of music.
Yeah.
I had good food. I saw a lot of people from out of town, and all the bands were awesome.
Mhm.
It was an awesome event, and I didn't hear of no bad reports. I did hear a few fireworks go off, but that was about it.
Right.
There was a few
We did. We did.
around town,
Right, right.
not many though.
What I really,
Not
really
as
like
much as
kind
you.
of question is, here we spend lodger's tax funding and budget monies and personnel and this and the other, and prepare, 6 months of preparation. And then a lot of our businesses are closed downtown, Fridays and Saturdays, which I don't get at all, but that's neither here or there, I guess. That's the purpose of lodger's tax, to bring people from away from 30, 60 miles away from town, to come and shop and spend money here and eat out
You
here.
mean the ones on Bridge Street, they close rather than,
Yeah, they'd rather close, I guess, than open during the fiestas. And hopefully, that's not the way it is gonna be again for the motorcycle rally and now for the Gay Pride Parade, because, that's That's what we're out trying to promote, Las Vegas and the businesses. So, but, okay. Next item, sorry.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second it.
First, second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Our next meeting is August the 15th, 2022 at 2 PM, same place, same time. Thank you.
Thank
Ladies
you.
and
Thank you all, thanks Dominic.
Thank you.
We know you have a challenging jobs.
You're doing good, you're doing good.
Thank you, thank you.
It's nice to see the golf